Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody else. Well, we are talking about kintsugi, and so I would say konnichiwa to everyone. To me, kintsugi means kind of pitcher made of broken things, and in the end, it is stuck by the gold. And that's how I feel myself. There are two kintsugis here. One is the ghatam. So that's the sound of the ghatam or the pitcher. And why did I say it's like a broken piece and it's made with the gold? The gold to me has got lots of meanings. It could be metaphor of the good sound coming from this pitcher. Like this. So lots of good sounds coming, and that could be probably golden reward for this sound. And that's why I would say this is one kind of kintsugi. And the second kintsugi, I was talking about myself, because I am, being a totally blind person, there are several stages. I have been mended. Sometimes I had to mend myself, or sometimes I have been mended by other different golden liquids. And I would say, when I say golden liquid, I would say so first of all, my parents, and then my gurus who have given me lots of things, and then my inspirers. Inspirers could be two types in my view. One who are very, very positive, saying thanks, doing this and encouraging you, encouraging one. Sometimes you need inspirers who can be critics, and they are more important sometimes than the positive people. Because critics can criticize you either in front of you or behind you, but if it reaches to you, then you learn a lot of things. For example, I have got this problem with the sitar playing. I used to play with flat fingers. And they wouldn't tell in front of me, but they would tell somebody else. My friends told me that what sort of person you are. You think you are a great sitar player, you play with flat fingers. And then I realized, and that's how I've learned. And still I have to learn quite a lot. So this is continuous process to be kintsugi, as I would say. When I lost my eyes, and first very important thing in the body, at the age of 8 months, what shall I do? Well, I didn't know actually have lost my eyes or not, because I was only 8 months old. I didn't even know. So I only knew how to cry, because I was in pain and everything. So that was very sad atmosphere. For me, very difficult. Anyway, I should go further, because in order to repair their guilt, my parents decided a few things. And one of those things was very, very important for me, because my father used to take me every day for walking in the park, in the big park. And he used to teach me one shloka every day. And the condition was, next day when I learned this shloka, I should go for another walk. When they were sleeping, I used to get up. And there used to be, we used to call them goch. And it used to be like a balcony which goes, I used to go all the way around the balcony. Sometimes I used to play the bike as well. I used to have little rickshaw kind of bike, and I used to go there as well. And while I'm doing that, while I'm walking, I should recite all these shlokas which he has taught me. And that particular shloka which he has taught me previous day, I should recite a few times till I get absolutely right. And then I used to tell my father, this is my result. He used to be very happy. So he used to teach me Gita shlokas like that from Bhagavad Gita. One day, as a curious person, I remembered one shloka from Gita, and because my father told me the meaning of it, so I could understand. And I used to sing, for example, this shloka. I'm going to play Dilruba, which is a lovely instrument with this. And I'm going to play Swarmandal, which is also, I think it's a kintsugi for me to play different instruments at the same time, because I'm a musician who can play multiple instruments. So I'm going for this shloka. आख्याहि मे को भवानुग्र रूपो नमस्तुते देववर प्रसीद विज्ञातुमिच्छामि भवन्तमाद्यं नहि प्रजानामि तव प्रवृत्तिम्. That also reminded me the Hindi translation of that song which I sang when I was 3 years old. And on the train I sang this song which says, भगवान तुझे मैं खत लिखता पर तेरा पता मालूम नहीं, तेरे सामने बैठ के मैं रोता पर तेरा पता मालूम नहीं. So maybe people who speak Hindi, they can understand. Oh God, I could write you a letter, but I don't know your address. I could cry in front of you, but I don't know where do you live. So basically, this is the essence translation of the same shloka that I just sang in Sanskrit. Akhya hi me ko, so on and so forth. This song, Bhagwan Tujhe Main Khat Likhta, everybody loved that song, and they carried me from one end of the carriage to the other end of the carriage. That make my father realize how good musician I could be. And everybody said, you should put him somewhere that he can learn music. He's a great singer. Maybe we can talk about what is the most important thing in my life, which I realized. And I'll go back, because realizing is one thing, but naturally what I did about sound, which is the most important thing for me, is I will describe in this way that when I was very, very young child, like 6 months, even before losing the sight, whenever I had some opportunity, I used to play anything and everything like this. For example, whatever is in front of me, I used to do this. And including when I grew up, I used to play cups and plates and pots and pans, whatever I could find. Maybe you can experiment that too. Because for me, sound is the most important. When my mother calls me, that's her sound. When I give her some answer, that is also sound. And for me, music and sound became only one thing. And I discovered that later on, when I grew up, I played harmonium, and that was very interesting. I could sing, that was also sound. So everything sound for me, most important. Communication is very, very important, and I did communicate with the sound. And when I was sent to my school, first school, in Gwalior, I was only 6, and my father didn't want to leave me there. But the headmaster, when he heard me playing all these harmonium and singing Tulsidas Chapai, Ramayana Chapais and all that, bhajans, and he said, leave him here. We need him here. For 2 reasons. One, he can raise lots of money for us, and also he will learn quite a lot of stuff. Because we have got good teachers, we need good students to learn, and he can. So that's how I was left there. And after 6 months, by playing this instrument, which is this one, which is, we call it banjo in India, but it is taisya koto, a Japanese instrument. So I was taught this instrument because they were saying that, okay, lots of people play harmonium here, and we have got this instrument, who is going to play this? So it was given to me, and I have learned this instrument to play. And after 6 months, I got first prize by Queen of Gwalior. She came and she took me in her lap, and very good flower garland and a golden cup. So kintsugi fits here that way. So after 6 months, I got this prize. I don't know where it is now. It must be in my school somewhere. And then, after 2 years, when I was 8, my hand just went to a beautiful instrument, and I asked my teacher to give me, and he refused because he says, it's too big for you, you're too small. But I insisted, I want that instrument. And he gave me, and as soon as he gave me, I started playing the tunes on this instrument called sitar. And I was very much interested because I saw these kind of flower designs and so on and so forth. And it was very interesting for me. And so I changed my school, and after that I was back to zero, because nobody knew I could do all that. I got lots of degrees and diplomas after that. And then I came home at the age of 16, 17, And as soon as I came, I realized that my family is so poor. And at that point, I taught them how to knit the cane chair. One of my friends employed me as a musical director for his play, and called Gandhiji Ki Bakri, Gandhiji's Goat. There I played quite a few instruments and I got a lot of money. So I realized in one day I can get so much money. If I knit those chairs for about a month, I would get that kind of money. So why shouldn't I go to the music? I have traveled all over India as musical director with Chintamani Jain's troupe. In the end, I ended up teaching in Girls' Degree College in Agra. And also being tourist city, some tourists were interested. So a Frenchman brought me to France so that I could teach him sitar. But, kintsugi has to go on. And as I came to France, he got in love. So the girl came first and I was kind of ignored. He didn't ignore me completely, but he just ignored the sitar. And that was the main purpose. I wanted to go back to India, but somehow everything is organized in such a way by the Lord that I met my wife there in France, in Paris. And Linda wanted to learn Indian singing. And I said, yes, I can teach you Indian singing. And that's how we met together. And she actually opened my mind by singing the jazz kind of singing which I never heard. And I thought it used to be just squeaks. No. But then later on I learned that music is music. Music can be in many forms. So that time Linda has taught me that music is in the air, earth, water, fire, and space. Wherever you go, music is there. Without music, there is nothing. And that's why I'm very thankful to my wife. She is very supportive. And after that, I came to England and I have played with lots of lovely musicians. And so I would say the final segment of it is my attitude was to everything, whatever happens to me, most of the time good and sometimes bad, I should take as a positive person, positive attitude, and make the most of it, which actually translates into Gita's last shloka from the 18th chapter. Om Yatra Yogishvara Krishna Yatra Partho Dhanurdhara Tatra Shri Vijaya Bhutir Dhruva Nitir Matir Mama. When you've got Yogeshwara Krishna, who has got all sorts of strength, can do anything. And if you've got a devotee like Arjun, who will listen to Krishna and do whatever is told, then there is nothing impossible. You can get victory everywhere. And that shloka actually taught me quite a lot. I don't mean literally worshipping Krishna. I don't mean that I'm a literally Arjun. But what I mean to say that you should do whatever you can do within your own power. And that is it. If you can achieve, that is yours. If you can't achieve, don't regret. Because it's not possible that you cannot achieve. Once you have set a goal, you may not receive that goal in the way you wanted, but you will be receiving goal in a different way. And that will take you wherever you want to. With that comment, I think I should say thank you very much to to old TEDx department for asking me to give this speech. I hope you liked it. Thanks.